What is up, my darlings? The dawn is rising with me, Alex. Now, as you can see, I am in a different attire. If you saw my last video, this is the same day I'm uploading it. My shift has changed. I'm now working Friday. So I have Wednesday and Thursday off. So today and tomorrow. I'm happy with that. I'm completely at peace with that. I do not mind. So, it is my mum's partner's birthday. Woohoo! Love it. So, I am making cupcakes for him. And if you're wondering, this is the practical textbook from when I was in junior cert home ec. I want to try the recipe in here, so I kept it literally for 3 years. And when I told my best friend, she was like, "What? And you thought I was weird for keeping all my copies." And I was like, "Yes, you're weird for keeping all your copies. You don't need the copies. This is useful." But anyway, I am going to be making vanilla cupcakes. So this is going to be fun. Well, they might not be vanilla. I might see what flavorings we have. And I might do like a few different ones. But we'll see. So this recipe says it will make 12. Not sure if it will, but we'll see. So what I need is butter, caster sugar, self-raising flour, baking powder, eggs, vanilla extract, milk. I actually need to see if we have eggs because that will determine if I can do this. So, into the fridge over here. This is our new fridge. We love it so much. I have 2 eggs. Okay. I'm going to need to text my mom to get eggs on her way home. So since I have 2 and this recipe calls for 3, I'm probably going to divide the whole recipe by 3 and then multiply that number by 2 so it's accurate for the amount of eggs I have. But we'll see. I might not. Putting my other cookbook over here. This is actually a cookbook I really, really like. The Hungry Student Cookbook. This actually has one of my favorite recipes of all time in it. I will find it for you guys. No, not that one. Not that one either. Where is it? Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I found it quite swiftly. But breakfast muffins. I make these every single week when I was in secondary school. I would have them for lunch. I would have them for breakfast. And I love them. They keep me going. They are delicious. And you bake them, you freeze half of them, and then you can just have them throughout the week. It is incredible. But enough about those. While this cookbook is incredible, that's not what we are focusing on. So I'm actually going to gather the ingredients and then I'll show you what I have. So I'm now back. And I have my ingredients. Hold on. I have my ingredients: butter, milk. I switched out the extract for orange extract because that's quite nice. My mom's partner loves it. Baking powder, caster sugar, and self-raising flour. And of course, my 2 eggs. So I might just go ahead, get my tablet so that I can have my music playing while I do this, figure out the actual proper quantities now that I'm only working with 2 eggs. And yeah, I'll get back to you in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm actually not going to divide this. I'm actually just going to add more milk to make up for the fact that I have 1 less egg. So that'll make things a little simpler. Now, while we have an electric mixer, I generally don't use it. Why, you may ask? I just prefer doing this traditionally, manually, however you wish to describe it. So, I am going to get started. Now, if you've seen the last video I've uploaded, you'll know that these cooking things is a thing I want to try. So, I'm just making this as like a feeler, I suppose, to see if people actually like this. So, it says the first thing you need to do is place the butter and the sugar in a mixing bowl and cream until light and fluffy using an electric mixer. So, I may actually use the electric mixer for this part because I'm not sure how well I will do it with my hands. Well, you know, with like the traditional jewels of a wooden spoon. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now that's 175 grams of softened butter. Softened would be very important. My butter is straight from the fridge, so we'll just have to see. I'll just cut it up to make it correct, so that it's like easier for the sugar to get through. And so it's 175 grams of both the butter and the caster sugar. So I'll go ahead, have those get those measured, get into the whisk, into the electric mixer, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, this is our giant electric mixer. It is a Morphy Richards one. We've had this one for years. Genuinely. So, yeah, I'm just going to get this whole thing set up. Just like, and I'm gonna get this all set up, get everything weighed, start creaming and listening to my music. You will not hear the music because I'm going to be listening to K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, and I don't want to get copyrighted, so yeah, I'll be back. 20 seconds in the microwave, and this butter is now softened. You can tell because if I'll move over here, if I poke my finger in it, it's soft. Now I know that's probably not the best test, but hey, that's the one I'm going with, so we'll roll with it. So, butter into the mixing bowl. There we go. Now, I'm going to show you our scales. This is probably as old as me, if not older. I am not joking. We have had this for legit years. I'd say it's not far off 20, if not over 20 years old. Okay, so now I need to add 175 things of sugar. Now, while I like this one, I am not a massive fan of it because it is not exact. It's like every 20 grams there's a mark. So then you need to be like really careful with it. And baking is not like cooking. Like with baking, it's like everything needs to be exact or it could screw up the whole thing. Genuinely. So yes, I'm going to leave that to cream. I'm going to start getting the next steps done. Okay, listening to the entire score suit later, if you have not listened to it, please listen to it. It is freaking incredible. I have never listened to score suits until I watched K-pop Demon Hunters. It is beautiful. But our butter and sugar is creamed. And I have the 175 grams of self-raising flour and the half a teaspoon of baking powder sieved in a separate bowl. So now it's time to go on to the next step, which is step 4. Which is beat the eggs and the vanilla extract, in my case orange extract, into a small bowl with a fork. Now for these things, we generally use measuring jugs. And considering how low milk is in this, it'll be fine. Like, I can just add more milk bit by bit to get the consistency I need since I'm only have 2 eggs to work with. So now, do the smart thing. If you used a knife to cut the butter to make these, reuse it. There are actually 2 methods of cracking eggs that I have been shown and used. So the first, you guys actually need to be lower, so there we go. The first is using a knife. So you take the back of the knife and then you just go like that. It'll create a crack like that, and then you can just separate it out with your fingers like so as normal. And then you just set it aside. The second method I learned at work. For this, I need to move this over here and take the egg. Now, I'm going to be doing this onto our stove counter. Do it on whatever surface you like, as long as it's easily wipeable. What you do is you literally just... I'm actually going to do this with my other hand so that you can see it better. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit it really hard onto your hard surface, like such. It'll create a crack like that, and then all you do is you push it in and you separate it. I learned that at work. I can actually do it one-handed at work. And it's much easier because you're using less equipment. So we have our 2 eggs in here now. So I believe it was a half teaspoon of vanilla extract or something. Let me see. Okay, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Hold on, I need to fix the angle now. But we never do that in my house. What we do is we just take the lid of whatever extract we're using and we just fill it up mostly, and then we just plop it in. Oh, I love the smell of orange extract. Delicious. And then the last part of step 4 simply says beat with a fork. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to listen to how it's done, because the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack is incredible. Now, eggs beaten. As you can clearly see, the entire thing, looks like the yolk. Is like that, the color of the yolk, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now, the next part says to add some of the egg into your sugar and butter mix. But with our mixer here, a lot of the stuff tends to get stuck on this. So what we do is we take a knife, again, reuse it. It's not exactly like it's been touching anything that will cause cross-contamination or a sickness. So this is what we do. We just scrape it off like so from every single point we can. There we go. This part generally does take a bit. And voila. So I'm going to follow the recipe again. Okay, it says add a little of the egg. I'm not sure what a little is, but at this stage, you're just slowly adding bits of your egg mixture and bits of your flour and baking powder mixture into this. Now, obviously, you can feel free to double or even triple the recipe if you want more cupcakes. I can't because I don't have enough eggs to, so this is all the mixture I have. So I'm going to get ahead and go on with that because I still have 2 minutes of how it's done to listen to. So I'll be back when I get to the next stage. Okay, so I'm just about to add the last of my egg and the last of my flour. But at the end of how it's done twice, and at the start of the song, they drove all my co-workers nuts when I worked in the bar. AKA Golden, it came on twice a day for like 3 weeks straight. And I would sing every single word. It just became known as, oh no, Alex's song is coming on, and then they just turned off the radio. But at this stage, if you have all of your ingredients added, and it isn't at the right consistency, then I'll tell you what to do for the next step, because the cookbook tells you that you continue to add it all until it's incorporated, but if it's too thick, you add some milk until it's at dropping consistency. So what that means is if you take a spoon when it's fully incorporated, you get a bit of the mixture, you hold it upside down. If it isn't dropping, it's too thick. So you need to add more liquid until it gets to that dropping consistency. So I definitely need to do that because I don't have enough eggs. I knew I would have to add more milk, but that's completely fine. So I'm going to get back to listening to Golden singing my heart out while I do this. So I will check back in with you when this is right. Okay, after listening to Golden and half of some Korean word path by the Jokers in K-pop Demon Hunters, it's time to check this. Now I did not go crazy and add just like a whole eggs quantity of milk into this straight away. No. The water content between an egg and milk is actually quite different. So that would not work. So, after the last incorporation, let's see. Okay, we're getting there. We can see that this is wanting to drop, but it's just not doing it quick enough for us. So, I need to just do some more milk adding before this is perfect. And then I can go ahead, get this into a baking tray and throw it into the oven. So once you have it at the dropping consistency, this says use an ice cream scoop. We have an ice cream scoop. Somewhere. Hold on. There we go. Obviously, you don't need to use an ice cream scoop. The way we've done it for years is we just use 2 normal tablespoons. And we just get a dollop, scrape it off with the other one, put it in, leave it at that. Yeah, I can see part of here it wanting to drop, but yeah. So I'm going to add more milk into the middle of it, and I'll check back with you when this is at dropping consistency. Okay, that last bit of milk is incorporated, and I can see, even on the mixer, I don't think you guys can, here we go, it's actually wanting to drop itself. So I'm just going to take a bit, do this, and yep, it's wanting to fall. It is wanting to fall, but it's not quite there yet. It's still a little too gloopy, like you can see here on my finger. It wants to fall, but it's just still a bit too thick. So, let's see how this goes. Now this is probably going to end up being spliced because my best friend just texted me and I need to see what she said. I'll be back.